Hello everyone, this is Gary from Biohackers Lab, and I'm going to be doing these videos every day on my carnivore diet experiments. So this is January 2018, well today is the 2nd of January, and I started yesterday on the 1st of January. And the reason why is, January every year tends to be the time of year when people want to experiment and change their health and start a new diet, new way of eating, get rid of the excess of Christmas. And I just thought it would also be a good time to start, since it's called World Carnivore Month. That's what Dr. Sean Baker, the carnivore diet doctor that I interviewed on episode 19 for Biohackers Lab podcast, has been promoting. And he's also promoting his carnivore training system. And I actually just did a review because I'm on the inside of that. So I get to see what his health coaching is about with his carnivore training system. So check that out on the website if you want. But really, I'm doing these videos just to keep an update of how I feel, anything I learn, hints and tips about eating a diet just on meat, no vegetables. And it's going to be interesting. I haven't done it before. Probably the last biggest diet experiment I did was when I did my butter coffee or high-fat diet, low-carb diet years ago, and I've also got that on the website. But what I'm going to find interesting here, and I know it sounds stupid, but I don't want to lose weight. I had that before on the butter coffee experiment where I lost a lot of weight. I actually lost 17 kilograms, and I don't want to do that again. That was interesting just to see that, yes, you can lose a lot of weight on the food that you eat, and I don't want to do that. On the carnivore diet, I actually want to maintain my weight, or hopefully actually get myself fit, because I know I'm not fit. So I want to also use what Sean teaches in the carnivore training system and start exercising on a regular basis again, because I know I'm lacking in that. So far what I'm also going to be doing is, I haven't got a chance to do extensive blood work. Where I live, I don't have access to a private path lab or pathology lab. I used to when I lived in South Africa, but I don't here. So what I can test, I'll just do some basics, like some basic cholesterol testing, maybe total cholesterol numbers. I'll see if I can get something a bit more advanced with LDL and HDL. I know I'm a hyper responder to what I was when I was on the high-fat diet, like I spoke about with Dave Feldman about that. So it'll be interesting to see on an all-meat diet, will I also be a hyper responder? Will I get a change? And I am doing ketones and glucose. I've got a Keto Mojo measuring tool, so I'm doing that at 2 p.m. every day, just to try to keep consistent. And I'm posting the photos of that on my Instagram account, which is biohackers.lab on Instagram. So if you want to follow that to see some of the photos. I'm also going to be posting photos of the meals that I'm eating. So yesterday was my first full day of just only meat. I am drinking coffee. I love my coffee, so I'm still going to be drinking coffee and water. So yesterday was interesting because I tried to eat up to 1 kilogram of meat. Got to do the conversion into pounds. Try to get my pound to kilo ratios working again, but I actually struggled yesterday to eat a whole kilogram of meat for some reason. I'm surprised about that, but yeah, I was just under 1 kilogram of meat yesterday, and today I'm doing much better. I think I've already done about 600 grams of meat for my meal. I've only done one meal so far today, and I'll do another meal, and then if maybe I might see if I'm a bit hungry after that one, but I don't know. I'm not feeling hungry right now, so we'll see. But today was fun too, because another thing I want to do with this carnivore diet experiment is actually try and document what it costs to live like this. So I find this personally interesting, coming from Africa, where I grew up and used to live. Meat is readily available, and you can get good quality meat for a very good price. And living in Europe now, it appears different. Protein, just in general, I find comes across as more expensive. And maybe that's a reason, and one of the reasons why people tend to have a lot of carbohydrates or breaded goods in Europe. But I want to see, would living on a protein-based diet in Europe be expensive? So I'm looking, when I did it today when we were shopping in the shopping market, just looking at price per kilogram. So I'll document that too. So I'm keeping a documentation of what it costs, what I'm trying to estimate what it costs per day to live on a carnivore diet too. Just so there's a reality there too. And I'll be interested to see if I can get some people from the US to compare to, so see what it's like to buy meat and different cuts of meat around the country. I'm also hoping that I can speak to a local butcher about different cuts of meat, and maybe try to get someone on the podcast to talk about the nutrition of meat and how much nutritional value is there in different cuts of meat, or how an animal is raised, if it's grass-fed or if it's not, how much of a difference there is, maybe nutritional value-wise. I personally prefer rather having a meat that's from a grass-fed animal, so an animal that's well taken care of, a farmer that takes care of their animals, takes care of their land, and it's just a good ecosystem at the end of the day too. And the healthier the animal, the healthier the meat that I should be eating too. So I'm not in ketosis. You'll see that from my ketone readings. I'm on low in Keto Mojo, so that's basically 0 because I haven't been trying to get into ketosis. And Christmas was a time of lots of dark chocolate, so probably also too many carbs there. Glucose wise, I saw yesterday it was around 85 milligrams per deciliter, or 4.7 millimolar. Today was 5. Ketones are still low, so already having done 24 hours of a carnivore diet hasn't put me into ketosis yet. So I'll be interested to see what happens with that. Keep you up to date. Keeping track of, so I've got my weight, which was 90.6 to start with, 90.6 kilograms. I'm doing my hip and waist ratio too, because I believe that's an important metric to do versus BMI. Don't do BMI. I don't think it's a good metric. So I've got my hip and my waist ratio, and we'll see how much that might change or might not change, because that changed quite a bit when I was on the diet where I lost all the weight too, of course, because that was one of the biggest problems. I felt I lost lean muscle mass because I didn't eat enough, because it didn't make me feel hungry because I was on such a high-fat diet, and that was a good learning point for me there. So so really, just to keep up to date, I'm going to be doing these videos here on Facebook Live. I will hopefully be able to post this onto the YouTube channel too, so people can also follow the progress there. And then I'm going to be posting on Twitter and on Instagram. So just follow the accounts there if you want to see pictures and keep up to date with what I'm doing. But if you're also doing a carnivore diet, please let me know. I'd love to get some feedback and just, see anyone else who's also doing the challenge for January, and how you're finding it, what any hints and tips that you're getting too. It'd be great to get that conversation going. So anyway, this is Gary from Biohackers Lab, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.